bum ba dum. Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben. Merry Christmas to y'all, and welcome to the website that teaches you how to play guitar. Mandolin. This week is Banjo Week. I've got a beautiful, bright sounding little Recording King RKR36. I love these little banjos. I was picking on it anyway, decided just to do my lesson with it. I have these for sale over on the website. You should come check those out. And we're in drop C tuning today, so we're taking that fourth string, the low D, we're tuning it down a whole step, and we're going to learn the solo to the first Noel. It doesn't go very fast, but there's some key technique things that you need to know about. So I'm going to show you how to put your fingers, where you should put your fingers, and which strings to pick down here to try to make those pretty Christmas sounds. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to my home, BanjoBenClark.com. You can join as a Gold Pick member, have access to hundreds of lessons and tabs and MP3 rhythm tracks. I've got tons of Christmas stuff over there as well, so come check that out. But for now, let's jump right into the beginning of the first Noel in the key of C. We've got this Recording King RKR36. It's sounding good, and it's in this drop C tuning. We're just going to take that low fourth string, that D note, we're going to tune it down a full step till it gets into a C note. It's going to match the C note here in the first fret of the second string. So now if we wanted to play a C chord, we don't have to do the full three fingers. We can leave that middle finger off. I just love the sound of that. Now we're going to play this melody for the first Noel on the higher octave. We're not going to play it down here. We could play it down there, but instead we're going to play it here. And it's really going to cause us to use a lot of the neck because that melody has quite a range. And I might encourage you at first just to go through and try to find these melody notes that mostly happen on this first string. Just kind of follows the scale up, right? And what we're going to do is try to play that basic melody straight ahead for the most part, but we're going to add some different elements to help fortify and embellish that melody. We might add some bends, some hammer-ons, and do a lot of these harmony chords, harmony notes. Let's go ahead and throw up this first line of tab, and you'll notice that I have our pick hand fingerings beneath each one of those notes in those little circles. But I do have to say that those are subjective because we're going slow enough to where you can use whatever fingers you want, but these tend to be the fingers that I use. Also, we're in 3/4 time. There's 3 beats per measure, so you want to just be sure and count carefully. Now, as we come in, we're going to come in on the third beat of that first measure there. It's labeled measure 2, but it's the first measure we see. The first. And when we land on that melody note, I'm going to go ahead and throw some notes beneath it to help thicken it up. And maybe you've never done this, but we're going to use an inside roll to do that. We're going to take our 3 fingers and play the middle 3 strings. And they're all written together there in measure 3, like we would pinch them all at the same time. But what I'm going to do many times for embellishment is to kind of pick through those and separate the notes just a little bit. So it's not a pinch, but as we come up out of that, we're going to go into a partial B or G chord, measure 4. So the melody note's staying up here on the top. So then jump up. We're going to have to move quick, even though this song is slow. There's our melody note 7, 9. When we get to the 10th fret, think about what our melody note's doing. Our melody is going bum, 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 bum. So I'm going to come up with some other notes to help thicken that up a little bit. And what I'm going to start by doing is walking in a suspension, walking into that 10th fret. So I'm going to get my final melody note on that B string on the 10th fret. And how you want to fret that with your neck hand is up to you. The way that I'm getting it is starting out with my middle 2 fingers, then come down, and then with the same 2 fingers I'm going to slide up to the 9th fret for the end of measure 6. So this whole line, a little slower, and then we're going to do it really slow later on all together. Sounds like this. 2. Get to measure 7. We are going to start with a pinch there, and I'm going to play both of those at the same time. and then come down. Look at my fingering. And I want to try to get some legato sounds here. I don't want it broken up where it's... I want to try to get those tones to hang out. Come down to measure 8, walk back up. And then we have our little bend here. And you almost want to ignore the little triplet markings beneath this first beat. I had to put that in there so that the tablet edit file would, when your computer plays it, would sound somewhat close to what I'm playing. But I'm going to fret these 2 notes. I think it's important to play the 10th fret with our pinky, 9th fret with our middle. We're going to pinch them together, and I'm just going to slightly bend up and back down, but we're only going to pick it one time, so it's going to go. I'm going to brush through measure 10 with my thumb and hammer onto that 2nd fret. Then the very last beat, another quick little hammer on for the... Okay, so the whole line. That's so fun. Measure 11, start with the 16th note hammer on. Back to that G chord. And then keep in mind, I'm leaving my middle finger down. But then when we get to 13, move quickly to bar those 10th frets. And again, I'm going to flick through those and leave my finger down. Come back down to the 5th fret. Then back up to 9. The whole line. I may do my fingers a little differently from time to time, but you'll get into a habit of how you're going to do it. Measure 15, back up to the 15th or to the 10th fret, and then we've seen this move before. We've already seen that measure, but then we've got a different chord here. I've got an E minor. That's just the way that I've chosen to do it. Now the melody is still going bum 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 bum, but I'm going to find some E minor chords beneath it. So I'm going to make this one 4-5-5. I'm going to flick through those, then into that E minor Foggy Mountain Breakdown chord position. So just practice it. You can do it with your pinky there if you want. And then my pinky is definitely going to land there in 17. So pick that for the first beat. And for the second beat now we're going to do the bend. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, brush. The whole line. Oh, I should have done my pinky there. Let me do it again because it's important to get that pinky there in 17th measure. Good stuff. Now let's go into the chorus next. Then after we learn the chorus, we're going to do the whole thing slowly. Then I'm going to show you some...